Hello, this is your Principal Valerie Newton with this week's edition of Hear Me Roar, Academics. In this episode, I will continue with the attributes of an accomplished teacher for domains 2C and 3C. Again, these are shared with you to prepare all instructional staff at Greco to work at the accomplished level consistently. 2C, managing classroom procedures. A smoothly functioning classroom is a prerequisite to good instruction and high levels of student engagement. Teachers establish and monitor routines and procedures for the smooth operation of the classroom and the efficient use of time. Hallmarks of a well-managed classroom are that instructional groups are used effectively, non-instructional tasks are completed efficiently, and transitions between activities and management of materials and supplies are skillfully done in order to maintain momentum and maximize instructional time. The establishment of efficient routines and teaching students to employ them may be inferred from the sense that the class runs itself. Accomplished looks like smooth transitions from individual assignment, bell work to whole class instruction. Teachers use countdown to get students' attention. Champs is actively used and adjusted based on expectations. Sign-in sheets are used for late arriving students and those leaving before the bell rings. Smooth functioning of all routines. Little or no loss of instructional time. Students playing an important role in carrying out the routines. Students know what to do, where to move, and they also have assigned seats. And if there are paraprofessionals, they work productively and independently. 3C, engaging students in learning. Student engagement and learning is the centerpiece of the framework for teaching. When students are engaged in learning, they are not merely busy, nor are they only on task. Rather, they are intellectually active in learning important and challenging content. The critical distinction between a classroom in which students are compliant and busy and one in which they are engaged is that in the latter, students are developing their understanding through what they do, and they are asked to think, to make connections, to formulate and test hypotheses, and draw conclusions. The learning tasks are rigorous and don't lend themselves to rote responses. Instead, students must be using their minds in the service of deeper understanding. They may be selecting their tasks from a range of teacher-specified choices, but the choices are designed to further understanding. A lesson in which students are engaged usually has a discernible structure, a beginning, a middle, and an end, with scaffolding provided by the teacher or by the activities themselves. Student tasks are organized to provide cognitive challenge, and then students are encouraged to reflect on what they have done and what they have learned. That is, there is closure to the lesson, in which students derive the important learning from their own actions. A critical question for an observer to determine the degree of student engagement is, what are the students being asked to do? If the answer to the question is that they are filling in blanks on a worksheet or performing a rote procedure, they are unlikely to be cognitively engaged. What does that look like? Students stood when they agreed with some questions. Students clapped when they disagreed with the questions. As a result, they remained actively engaged during the instruction. Students thinking, problem solving. Learning tasks require high levels of student thinking. Students have choice in learning activities. Student actively working rather than watching while their teacher works. A clear beginning, a middle, and an end to the lesson. Several students are working intellectually at the same time and learning from one another. Utilizing techniques to engage students in learning, such as Kagan cooperative learning groups. Behavior. We are approaching testing season, and now more than ever, we need students in our classroom to receive instruction. Teachers are encouraged to use in-class interventions and to make sure that their actions are not adding to the discipline problems. Attached to this email is Robin Jackson's 20 Signs You Might Be a Discipline Problem. This article allows us to reflect on our own practices and make changes that will help with discipline issues in our classrooms. Greco teachers, roar with pride. Congratulations to Chef B's FCCLA students. Under her leadership, all students qualified for state competition after their performance in the district competitions. Way to go, students. What's coming up? Conference night is Wednesday, February 7th. See Mrs. Blake's email on internal for important dates associated with conference night. And don't forget our school-wide events. Our field day is next Thursday, and our career expo is now on March the 7th. It is the expectation that everyone participates in the planning of one of these school-wide events. Folk Road again is the point person for field day, and Blake is the point person for career expo. As always, remember to review the calendar on Greco Internal and the sign-in calendar for a complete listing of upcoming activities. That's all for this episode. Have a great week, and remember, we are roaring louder and stronger together.